renounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. Let's go. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want to ring. Yeah, we all want to be free.
What up, Doe, and welcome to Lions Nation Live. We get to all things Detroit Lions news and rumors here on LNU. Super excited to talk today about our lovely, great, beloved Detroit Lions. Here is we getting closer and closer to NFL free agency, where we can upgrade our roster and get better, win the NFC North again, go all the way to the Super Bowl, and be OGs when it comes to this game of football. So super excited to get into this as usual. And man, even though there's no game right now on Sunday, even though there's no Honolulu Blue on Sunday, we still love our Detroit Lions, and we still love talking about it. Why? Because I don't know, man. I don't know. We're addicted. We're addicted to the Honolulu Blue and Silver. So that's just the way that it rolls. So appreciate everybody coming in here. We got Chrome, 9 Drinks in the building. Kurt, Casprick, Dennis Tight Tack, and JT's Massive Purpose. EB all up in this building. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. If you have not done so, it does help the channel out. And as we continue to go on here, hey, what's up, Brent? What up? Appreciate you coming in here. Appreciate you. Let's talk a little bit about Detroit Lions. So our offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, was ranked the best offensive coordinator in the National Football League. That is a good thing, Lisa DeLorenzo. We like that. We already knew that. Ben Johnson is really good. Still don't understand how is he not getting assistant of the year or anything like that. Why is it that like all this stuff comes out, greatness about it, for whatever reason, never get the awards, goes to Cleveland Browns, whatever it is, cray. Free agency, NFL free agency. Yeah, you're about less than a month away. NFL free, it's crazy. It's coming. It is coming quick, and it's crazy that it's coming this quick. What happens when you're a good team and you go all the way to the NFC Championship game, everything's a little bit faster regarding the offseason. It really is. Everyone on the road traveling back to Florida, dang, man, I want to go to Florida. Hook me up. Let's go to Florida out of this cold in the state of Michigan. That's what we want to see. So here in that, right now we're about $47 million in cap space. The Detroit Lions are really good when it comes to cap, so we need to always have that high number. That's what you do in free agency. Higher number you get, the better you get players to sign for the deals or extend your own players and stuff like that. So we're good right there, but they can free up some more cap space. Things they can do. You can always cut Tracy Walker. You can always redo his contract, and that will save about $10 million right there. No way on planet Earth is Tracy Walker going to stay the Detroit Lions the same amount of money he's making right now. It's not happening. It's not happening. And you're right. With Motor City, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson not winning awards, it was a farce. It always happens after the awards. Everybody loves what they're doing, but then when it comes to awards, it's somebody else. But if the Lions rework Tracy Walker, about $10 million right there. $10 million right there. Then we're sitting at around $58 million. That is a really good thing right there. They can extend Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker makes a lot of money. They can do that right now. What if they want to, give him a 3-year extension, something of that nature? That obviously can save money this year. You're pushing, obviously, cap ramifications down the road. Because when you extend somebody, you can always change it for 1 year and switch type up for up and coming years. So that's another way they can save some money right there. And that would be huge. They could obviously extend quarterback Jared Goff. And for whatever reason, people don't want him to get extended. I still hear that. Still hear that Jared Goff's not the quarterback for the Lions. He's not the most this, that for the Lions. I understand it. He is not the best quarterback in the National Football League. He's not Patrick Mahomes. There's not too many Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. There's only one. And I feel like we got a good quarterback. I think that he's perfectly fine. I will bring him back, extend him, and you can save money right there if you do that. So the Lions sitting pretty with cap. Sitting good fiscally for this football team. Sitting pretty with smiles on our face for the upcoming season. You see Goodell sends out daily memos during awards voting season, reminding the other 31 teams that the hatred for the Detroit Lions. Love the comment. It's true. Why the heck Florida people come complaining? 60 is not bad. Oh my God, I would die for 60 right now. I would die for 60. That'd be nice. We're getting closer though in the state of Michigan. We're going in the right direction. We're getting closer and closer and closer, and that's always a good thing. Someone said here in the comment, should they pay St. Brown right now? Even though you could still have him on this team this year for the rookie deal. I'm going to say they need to pay the guy. Pay him. He has outperformed his contract 10,000-fold at this point. St. Brown deserves to get paid. I know that, we pay him. And it's going to remove some money from the cap space this year. I don't care. St. Brown has earned his paycheck. And I believe when you are a player of St. Brown's caliber, who is consistently going game in and game out, regardless how much money he's making, he's playing at a high level. You need not worry what happens when you give this man money, because he's still going to play at a high level. Some people you may have to worry about getting paid and all this. St. Brown is the last person in the National Football League am I worried about giving money to. I know he will play high level, paid or unpaid. I know he's going to continue to play hurt. I know he's going to continue to play at a high level because that is his mentality that he has. So pay the man. I agree. Pay the man. He deserves it. He's a Lions man. He's an Iron Man. He's a Lions man. He's a Lion through and through. And it sends a message to the rest of the players that if you play the way that a St. Brown is doing, you play and with an intensity, you're always trying to be in the field, you're grinding, all that, you're going to get paid. And that is a good signal to the rest of the players that the Lions will reward good play. What cornerback should we get in free agency? There is a ton of cornerbacks. The NFL could go for that in free agency. You can definitely look at a lot of them, and I'll give you the list here really quick. Let me put it up. So let me screen. We can do you guys can see it, so I don't have to sit there and just talk about it. So let me get the cornerbacks up. And remember, this list, folks, is going to change because why is that? Is it going to change? Because teams are going to sign their own guys. So just because there's a great name out here, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get that player. Still. Got to show it right here. Let me see. So here it is. Here's the cornerback list of 2024 NFL free agency. Dory Jackson, Kendall Fuller, Stephon Gilmore, not Steven, Michael Hyde, Michael Davis, Jeff Okudah. That's who we got to bring back. Emmanuel Mosley, CJ Anderson, Kenny Moore, Rock Ya-Sin. That is the list. So you notice here there's some good cornerbacks for the Detroit Lions to look at. With that said, it's not the biggest list in the world. It's not like there's some guy that's a bona fide number one almighty cornerback that a lot of people are going to jump in and get. There's some good ones, but there's not that elite guy. So Look, I think the Lions need to sign one of these dudes. I don't know. The problem is I think they're going to go after one bigger name, and that's probably going to be the edge rusher. And at the cornerback position, they'll go for a good corner, a good one. Maybe they'll get a Kendall Fuller. Maybe they get I don't know even if they go a Dory Jackson. I got to keep it 100 there. I think that may be a little bit high for them. A Rock Ya-Sin or something like that. And then in the NFL draft is where they get their number one. That's probably the way it's going to be. So that's just my hunch right there. I think they'll probably go in the edge position. Like I said, I like a Danielle Hunter, and that's the route they go. And then they get another guy here in free agency, but the list is just not the best in the world. It's not. I do like Jalen Johnson 100%. I think that would be good. I still think that Chicago somehow brings him back. Boy, if you can get Jalen Johnson and Danielle Hunter, that's calling taken away from your rivals, and you just got it better. Can you explain how the transition tag works? Are you talking about like the specific rules of a transition tag for the NFL works? Let me get the exact definition because I don't want to screw this up. Okay. Not now. So the transition tag is a third form of tag, also functions a 1-year guaranteed contract. It does work differently. Only pays the player averaging of the top 10 salaries in the position. Therefore, cheaper than the 2 franchise tags. So that's what it is right there. So it's a cheaper franchise tag. We don't need to worry about it. I don't think a single person on our team is going to be getting any sort of tag this year. We're just not going to do that. What is up, TA? Do you think they'll bring back Emmanuel Moseley? Good question. I think they could bring him back, but it would be a 1-year prove-it deal, veteran minimum. And will Emmanuel Moseley take that? I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with it, but I'm not paying this guy a 1-year, $6 million deal. I will pay him the absolute minimum because he's not played. How much would you pay St. Brown if you're Brad Holmes? He's going to get paid a lot of money. And I'm thinking between $25 to $29 million a year for Amon-Ra St. Brown. That would be within the top 5 salaries of wide receiver. That's a ton of money, but that's probably what he's going to get because he is an elite receiver. And I don't care what anybody says. St. Brown is a bona fide number 1. He's an elite receiver. You get 1,500 yards, you're an elite receiver. I don't care how big he is or what the media says. I don't care. There'll be a lot of teams after Danielle Hunter. Yeah, there is. There's going to be a lot of teams after him, Josh Allen. There's other pass rushers out there for sure. And you may not get the guy you want. I mean, that's what we've talked about so far this offseason. What if you don't get the guy who you covet? You don't get him in free agency or in the draft. Well, then you have to do a trade, right? You have to do a trade. And there's players you potentially could look to trade for. But I don't think anybody on here really wants to do a trade right now. We don't want to lose draft capital. We want Brad Holmes to have more draft capital. But there is players out there you can look to acquire via trade. Still, I'm not wanting to do that until after free agency of the draft. I want to be able to acquire talent without giving up draft pick for that. Commanders, Falcons have a lot of money. Bears have a little bit more money than us. Yeah. And if you know this, TA, and I think a lot of people, they're going to have a lot more money because Justin Fields is not going to be a Chicago Bear. He unfollowed them on Twitter and on Instagram yesterday. He knows he probably got told, I'm going to assume that they're going to probably look at quarterback with the first pick. And that's going to save them money for the future so they can do bigger deals if they would like to get bigger deals in free agency. Let's see. At least $25 million a year. Dude has more than, he has earned it. And that's the thing, is we can get mad about it, but folks, he's earned it. If he gets $27 million a year, is anybody going to cry about it? I know I'm not. I'm not going to cry about it. I think that he's earned it. Top 5 wide receiver. He is a top 5 wide receiver, and he should get paid as a top 5 wide receiver. And what's good, what's good about St. Brown and what's worrisome about Payne's a player is, generally speaking, when you pay a player, you are worried that they may not live up to the contract, or they don't put in 100%, or they get injured, right? Everyone's worried about those things. And then you don't have that player in the field. I don't think there's a single person out there that's worried that St. Brown's not going to fight through injury, that St. Brown's going to stay at a high level, even play harder. And he's going to do just fine with his contract. Same with Penei Sewell when they do that. Penei Sewell, he's going to get paid buku money, okay? Buku money. But the difference between Sewell and St. Brown, Sewell has the fifth-year option. St. Brown doesn't. That's why it's probably going to be next year for Penei Sewell to get paid. But it's going to be the same situation when we do pay Sewell. He's going to get paid a gigantic salary. No one's going to be worried about it. No one's going to think, oh, this guy's not going to live up to it. None of that. You don't have to worry about it. So, how do you feel about Burns? Look, y'all, I made a video yesterday, the Brian Burns, because there's rumors coming around from Happy.com, all Lions, all that stuff, that the Lions could make a trade for him. I like Brian Burns. He's awesome. Okay, he's 25, be 26. Great pass rusher. Young. Here's the problem with Brian Burns, folks. First off, you're going to have to trade for him because he's going to get franchise tagged. They could have traded him the last 2 years and didn't do it. There's no way on planet Earth they're going to let this guy hit free agency. They're going to franchise tag him. If you want to get Brian Burns, then you're going to have to trade for Brian Burns. Okay? What would it take to get a Brian Burns? You're going to have to give up a first-round pick and maybe some more. So you would have to give up the 29th pick and maybe a little bit more to get Brian Burns. Okay, you're fine doing that. You got to pay Brian Burns. He only has 1 year left on his deal. He'd be a franchise tag. Then you're going to have to pay Brian Burns. Okay, so you pay Brian Burns. That's not a big deal. He's a great pass rusher. Then it's going to affect the contracts of Aiden Hutchinson, Penei Sewell, St. Brown, Aleem McNeil, because there's just so many people that you can pay. So I prefer to draft a guy in the NFL draft where you're on the rookie deal. You can save money that way, and he's younger. That's my thought process on trade. Now, look, I'm never going to throw a trade away. We miss out on a player. We miss out on a player in free agency, or miss out on a player in the NFL draft. We're not secure at that head position after all this. Go ahead and make the trade then. If we miss out through the draft, we miss out in initial free agency, I'm not wanting a Dollar General edge rusher, okay? We miss out on all that. Then at that point, I say, go make the trade, because we need a pass rusher in a big way. We cannot go into 2024-5 season with Aiden Hutchinson and everybody else. Just can't do it. By the way, I don't believe that's going to happen. I am 99.999% convinced they're going to upgrade that edge position opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. I am not worried. Brad Holmes is not a moron. Brad Holmes is very smart. He's very intellectual, and he's strategic. Everything that he does is good. Okay, so I trust 110%. 110% what Brad Holmes does. I don't think Brad is going to get someone in free agency and in the draft. I'm going to tell you why I think he will do this. You have to have pass rushers. You have to have defensive linemen on the team. This is why I'm going to tell you they are going to do this. Romeo Okwara, not going to be here this year. Charles Harris, not going to be here this year. We already know Julian Okwara, he gone. He's a Philadelphia Eagle. That alone is 3 spots for edge rush and pass rush that we don't have on this team this up-and-coming season. You're going to have to replace those roster spots. Generally speaking, you have the same amount of players in each position. You have your 5 receivers or 6 receivers. Same with pass rushers. The same thing. You're not going to just have You're not going to have 3 less pass rushers in 2024/25. They're going to get pass rushers. So we don't know the type of pass rushers. We don't know the amount of money they're going to spend on it or a high draft pick on it, but we know they're going to get them. We know they're going to get them. But so if you look here is the list of pass rushers right now. So you got, well, Leonard Williams and slash interior, a little bit of a hybrid there. But Danielle Hunter, that's a pretty good one. Right? We like him. There's some good players here. Unique Ngakoue. I still do like Unique Ngakoue, and that's interesting. I think he's a good pass rusher. He's not going to cost a lot to get him, so that could be an option for just like another body. He's not going to cost that much, I don't think. Obviously, Josh Allen, H.N. Robinson. He's more of the interior. Jadeveon Clowney. There's some players the Lions can get. So they can get some of these guys, and it's not going to be brutal. It's not going to be brutal. But they can get some of these guys. Again, and the reason why I like Danielle Hunter so much, folks, has nothing to do with, well, he just had the most sacks. No, I think it makes the most sense. Because he is 29 years old, okay? He's 29 years old. And maybe you do a 2-3-year deal with Danielle Hunter. That would be a perfect deal because then it's about time for Aiden Hutchinson to get paid. You then let Danielle Hunter walk after the couple years here in Detroit. You pay Aiden Hutchinson, and there's no contractual issues. Like if you go Josh Allen, you're probably going to have to give him a bigger deal, right? You have to give him a 5-year deal. But with Danielle Hunter, you're not going to have to. He's not going to do a 5-year. No team, and if he does get a 5-year deal, if a Danielle Hunter does, I guarantee you the contract's voidable after 3 years. So it's really a 3-year deal. So that's how you got to look at it, is timing as well. Sorry about that. Bryce Huff, linebacker. Thought you were talking about Bryce Huff, linebacker. Someone's sitting here. Pass rush. Get in there. It's fine. Where are they going to use them at, though? My thing is, when it comes with these LBs or pass rushers or the intermixes, we need to have a defined spot for some of these guys, and that's been a problem for the Lions the last couple of years. So if they got to roll, okay. But if you don't really know, I want to get pass rush that is a pass rusher. I want to get a linebacker that's a linebacker. We're good at linebackers, right? We only need to get backups there or whatever. We need to get legit pass rush. Legit ones. So define the role. We'll talk about it. Let's see. I don't want to miss you guys. We need to get defensive tackle Frisk in the draft. You like getting Frisk? There's a lot of good defensive tackles in this year's draft, folks. A ton. This is one of the best defensive tackles draft that I've seen in some time, man. You can get guys all the way in the 3rd round that can start for you, /4th round. I was going through and I'm like, my God. So pass rush is a little bit lackluster at the edge position. Defensive tackles is overflowing in this year's draft. Overflowing. They got some good, decent receivers. Obviously, one excellent receiver. And then it's good after that. Corner position, really good this year in the draft, and that's good for the Detroit Lions. We can find some good depth there. So that's also part of being strategizing on this, right? I don't think it's the best pass rush draft in the draft. So if they're trying to get a guy, you may have to move up, right? You may have to move up if you're trying to get the guy. But you're like, you know what? We don't care about that. We're just going to sit back. We're going to go BPA. Well, you can have a DT or a guard. It's a great draft for guard, too, by the way. Great draft for guard. So you could sit there at 29 and kind of just let the draft play out, depending on your strategy. Only I'd trade for Crosby, but likes the Raiders. Yeah, I'm going to just look. Everybody wants Max Crosby, but he's not going to be traded. They want Max Crosby is not going to get traded. He's not. We all would. Max Crosby is a G. I think all of us would love it. He's not going to be a Detroit Lion. And there's no way, like if you're to look down the road, that they're going to pay both Aiden Hutchinson and a Max. It's It's not going to happen. I mean, I'd love it. I would love it, but that is out of the realm of possibility. Get frisky with it, Lines Room. Okay, that's a good one there. Yep, Byron. Yeah, man. Byron Murphy, Tavondre Sweat, Zon Newton. Yeah, there's some good guys. I went through the draft. There's some really good DTs there. The only edge trade for. Hey, if you got questions answered or you want your questions answered, throw it in the comment section. Go ahead and do that. Thursday, I'm going to be live too, really quick. I'll be live for a couple hours on the huge show on Thursday. I think it's going to be like 4 to 6 is what I'm going to be doing. So I'll be live there talking about this as well. Burns, $30 million, no thanks. Yeah, he's going to get paid a ton. You could see a situation where he gets paid. Let's see how much Brian Burns is going to get paid. Let's do the positional spending. NFL teams, they'll do top salaries. Let's do position. This is how much it's going to cost, and it's going to cost a lot. When you look at these salaries here really quick. Come on, salary. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, there we go. Come on. This thing is freezing up on me. Trying to get it on here. Let me see if I can refresh it. I don't know what's going on here. Spot track is a little bit being a butt right now. Yes, not working. I don't know what's going on. But you're going to have to be paying a lot of money for an edge rusher, and it would not shock me if, like you said there. Rumble, good to see ya. Leonard Williams, 3 Miami, Mace Smith, Fabian Levette, a couple more. So, yeah, it's solid, man, all the way through the draft. Mike, any interest trading next year's first for draft assets this year? Oh, so you want to say draft a first-round pick, or you want to trade up in the draft, so you're at sitting 29, and you want to go to, like, pick 11, and you give up next year's first-round pick? Oh, man, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like robbing. Well, I don't know the old say. What is it? Robbing Paul to pay, or robbing someone to pay Paul. I don't like doing that. I don't want to give up a first-round pick next year for this year because I want this team to be good consistently. And that's how, to be consistent, you got to have your draft picks. It's all about drafting. That's why this team, why we've been so good, is we drafted so well. I don't want to give up draft assets. It's each draft pick that we got is a ticket to having a baller on this football team, because that's what Brad Holmes does. Ooh, we got it. Look at this, folks. Cap hit. $38 million. Pass rushers get a lot. And I can tell you right now, Brian Burns, he's going to be in this top 5. This is where he's going to get paid. He'll be right up there. That is a ton of money. Woo! That's a lot of money. Do you think the Lions should settle contracts with Goff, St. Brown, Sewell, etc.? Yes, no. Yes, with Jared Goff, just get it done with. That could actually save the money, and I don't think it's going to be too hard. St. Brown, yes. Pay the man this offseason. Penei Sewell, I pay him next year because he's got the 5th-year option. That's the way I'm doing it. And you don't want to pay like every single player in 1 year, right? Say if you played St. Brown this year, Penei Sewell this year, I don't know, Ali McNeil this year, and some other player this year. Then in a couple years, if their contract's pretty similar, guess what's going to happen during that time? You're going to have Penei Sewell ready for a new contract, St. Brown ready for a new contract. You want to kind of separate it each year. Bigger, kind of have each year you have a different name on there, a big, gigantic name on there. You don't want to have them all at one time, so that's the way I would do it. Robin Peter to pay Paul. There you go. Burns wants $30 million. How much is Bryce Huff? Ford Huff, while cornerback room, a lot lower. Is Mosley returning even an option? It is an option if he takes a veteran minimum deal. And by the way, I think every NFL team is going to look at Emmanuel Mosley and say the same thing. So it could be really up to Emmanuel Mosley. I don't see him getting a gigantic contract or anything. He's going to do it. Jonah Jackson already gone. I think he's going to be gone. I don't think the Lions bring him back because he wants a higher contract. I hope I'm wrong. That's my gut feeling. I want to be wrong there. Miami 49ers, Ravens, Vikings, all let guys go in free agency. Have you looked at any of those guys yet? Be a fit? Yep, I have. And yes, Javon Kinlaw, he's a guy for the 49ers the Lions could look at. And he's a free agent, right? You have Metabuke. He's a free agent. Good. Then you got the Vikings. They got a couple players too. Obviously, Daniel Hunter being one of them. So, yeah, I've looked at all these guys. What makes sense, though? Yep. Would you make a call to Evans? Mike Evans? Look, I like Mike Evans. I do. But let's keep it 100, folks. How much can the Lions offense really get better? Right? Like our offense is elite. We're a top 3 offense in the NFL. If we get Mike Evans, what are we going to move to 2? So is it really worth the money to pay him when you know your wide receivers are pretty good and they can get the job done? When you need help on defense, you can take that money that maybe you would have paid Mike Evans and put it towards a pass rusher or a defensive tackle or the corner position. Your defense has a ways to climb up there, right? Where our defense is decent, but we have a ways to go. Our offense is amazing. We can't really get too much higher. Like, it really can't. So, no, I probably not do it 9 drinks. I like Mike Evans go somewhere else. Just because of that. Let's see. What type of compensation would we be looking to trade for Josh Allen? Josh Allen's a free agent unless he gets franchise tagged. Then you're talking a first-round pick because he's so young. But he is a free agent, so I don't know if Jacksonville actually, I mean, he could walk. Jacksonville's a dumb franchise, so it's really difficult for me to see what dumb teams do, but we'll see going forward there. Jackson he was offered a new contract. Yep. He did, but he's betting on himself in free agency. By all means, you know what? And I'm not mad at Jonah Jackson for doing that. He wants to get paid. I think this is not that great of a guard free agency. So guess what? He's thinking, I'm up top of the litter. I'm going to get paid money, and he probably will. Another top receiver is a luxury. It is a luxury. Yep. Is a luxury. And I like Mike Evans. Look, if you could do it or whatever, I mean, I'm always looking to upgrade. But my thing is just we need to get this deep. We really need to get this defense better. We really got to focus our energy towards this defense. Still want to get guard. I'm not saying ignore the offense at all because I don't want that to happen at all. We still need guard and some other stuff. But this defense has been neglected for years. Last year, we put a lot of and people don't understand this and don't realize this. We have put a lot of resources. The defense is still just not panning out. We have, folks. In the last 3 years, we've drafted more defensive players than offensive players. In free agency, we've been about the same for signing players, defense and offense. Still, the defense is not as good as the offense. So we still got a lot of work to do for this defense. It's a work in progress. For whatever reason, we just can't get this thing to be we want it to be a top 10 defense. Like, that's what we're aiming for. We have moments, but then you have moments where you just get shredded in the secondary because of the pass game. So we got a ways to go for this defense, and we need to fix it. It's not a want, it's a need. If we're trying to win the NFC North, we got to get better defensively because the NFC North got better. And for us to just assume we're going to win the NFC North and host a playoff game, I'm not assuming that at all because the Vikings are going, if they get a quarterback, and I don't know if Kirk Cousins is coming back, they're going to be good, folks. They're not a chump team. The Vikings got talent. They get a quarterback, they'll be good. If they don't, okay, they'll be pretty bad again. They'll be a mid-level team. The Chicago Bears are going to be good this year. Make no mistake about it. They are going to be good. Okay? They are good. They got an S ton of cap space. They got an ton of draft capital, 2 picks in the top 10, one being the first overall pick. Their defense is already elite. They just need a couple pieces on offense, and they're going to be good. Really good. Then you got the Green Bay Packers, who should have been in the NFC Championship in Detroit. They, just like the Lions, we screwed at the end, and they didn't win that game versus San Francisco. The NFC North is good, so we got to get this defense up. It is not going to... Last year was, I would say it was pretty easy to win the NFC North. It was much easier. It's not going to be this easy this year unless the North teams, besides the Lions, get a bunch of injuries or something like that. They're going to be good. Do you see any of these present 53 stepping up? Season to fill in these needs? Great question, man, Weston Line. That's a fantastic question. We need Broderick Martin, like you're saying there, Martin, in there to step up. We do. Who could be potentially the next Ifutu Melifonwu? Who potentially could be the Ali McNeil of all the players that we got? Because those guys, they stepped up significantly this year. We liked Ali McNeil, but he got better. Melifonwu looked like one of the best safeties in football for the last 6 games of the year. Who potentially could step up? Man, that's an amazing question. You got me stumped here because it's really hard to tell on this. Let's start with the offense here. Who potentially could step up that we're not thinking about? We thought James Mitchell could do it this year. He's been injured. I don't know. There's been a lot of hype, but he hasn't really done anything, so I'm not going to say his name. I mean, he could, right? That would be something. You could see a situation where he could step up. Sorsdale, could he step up? He had a rocky year this year. He did. I'm not going to bank on it. For offense, they could step up, right? We know for backup, Hendon Hooker will step up, be the backup. That's not even really a question. Defensive line, who could step up in place that we don't know about? Again, Broderick Martin, because he didn't do anything last year, really. We need John Kaminsky to step up. We thought he would do it this year. It didn't happen. Boy, if he better step up too. John Kaminsky. He best step up, because if he plays like he did last year, this year, he's not worth the contract. And that's something right there. Linebacker, Jack Campbell, I would say is going to take a step forward. Why? Because he's going to take a step forward. So I'd say Jack Campbell there. Secondary-wise, we already like Brian Branch, Kirby, and Iffy. We know they're pretty good, so I'm not even going to say them. Corner position. Man, that's difficult, because I don't think really anybody right now is going to step up, because it is a pretty rough position. Hey, dude, Eminem is giving you guys bad luck and don't want to mess with other teams. Eminem's a G, man. He reps Detroit. Love him. I suspect Ben Johnson has some new 3 tight end sets. Playbook upcoming. They could. I want to say, Mitchell's going to step up, but he just hasn't so far. Trade for Justin Matabuke? Yeah. Well, Ravens, they probably want to keep him. That's the thing. We could say we could trade all for this players or acquire some of these big name guys, but when free agency hits, these guys, a lot of these guys are not going to be on the open market because they got the franchise tag and they like him. Stay away from football because other teams are sick of him already. Of him? He's not Taylor Swift, man. You don't get that. M's like he's been on the TV like 5 times this whole year. Taylor Swift is like 17-1 game. He's barely on there. Let's see. What? Have a good day too, man. If you're up. Walker's toast. Thinking we could re-sign Vildor as a backup. I like Vildor as a backup, but I don't want to see him as a starter. Walker, there's 0% chance he's on this roster with the same contract. He's either going to get cut or he's going to have to reduce his salary significantly. What positions do you think we don't draft? Oof. What we don't draft? Great questions. I'm going to say it right here. This is the idea that I think we bring Josh Reynolds and Donovan Peoples-Jones back. If we don't, they could draft a wide receiver. But if they bring those guys back, I don't think they draft a wide receiver. That's a position they probably don't draft. Running back, I'm with you. They may not draft a running back. They may not. Maybe they get one like as an undrafted rookie to compete with a Craig Reynolds. That's something you could look at. I would say tight end, but they could actually draft a tight end later in the draft because of James Mitchell hasn't really done anything. Brock Wright got injured, so maybe they do like a 7th round pick or something like that. So I'm not going to throw that out of there. Still, I don't think they would take one significantly early. It'd be like a 7th round pick flyer. Okay, so on offense, wide receiver, tight end, running back, probably not the biggest need there. Defense, you could say linebacker too. But maybe Anthony Pittman doesn't come back. I could see a situation where do like a 6th or 7th round pick, or a universal linebacker that plays both. He could pass rush, so it's not necessarily one. You know what? I'm going to say safety. The Lions don't draft a safety this year because we're good at safety. That's a position they don't kick. Punter, they're not going to kick that. Long snapper, they're not going to draft that. Kicker, I do think they draft a kicker. I do. I think they draft a kicker in this year's draft, 6th or 7th round pick. So, with that said, safety, linebacker, running back, wide receiver, tight end, those probably are extremely low in the list of positions they care about. And quarterback, great. Yep, Jason Cooper and quarterback. They're not going to do that. But they are BPA, and if one of those guys are available, and it is a position that we do already have good at, still, I'm all about BPA, and I think Brad Holmes is. You go the best player available, and if it is a position where you have, you're not going to just forego a position because you're good at that strength. If the guy is the best player available, you do it. Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta. So I think they would draft any position, but those are probably the lower needs on there. Yep, punter, they're not drafting punter, that's for sure. That'd be a stupid idea. If Blake Corum fell into their laps, would they draft him a trio of running backs? No, I don't think they're going to. Look, I like Blake Corum a lot. I would love to have him if we didn't have Jahmyr Gibbs, but Blake Corum's probably a 2nd round pick. And I don't see the Lions putting a 2nd round pick on a running back when you need corner, edge, DT, guard, much, much, much higher than those positions. Think if you draft a Blake Corum, when is he going to play? Look how much Craig Reynolds played this last year. Barely any. Okay, he barely played. So if you're going to waste a draft pick on a Blake Corum in the 2nd round, to me, that is a huge waste of draft capital because he's not going to play that much because you got David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. He is not going to play that much at all. So it would be, if you're to draft Blake Corum, it's not really for this year, in my opinion. It'd be for next year after David Montgomery walks in free agency. But again, Montgomery is more that power back, right? He's more of the physical guy in between the tackles and just doesn't make sense, in my opinion. But Blake Corum's awesome. So don't make no mistake. I love Blake Corum. If he would have came out last year, I would have loved for the Lions to draft him in the 2nd round last year. But he's just not going to get that much playing time here. So, and he probably would want to go to a better situation where he gets playing time. Like a Buffalo Bills, a team that needs a running back, like the Miami Dolphins that need a running back. I think for his situation to go to a teams like that needs help would be better. Maybe we can, Jason Hansen. Hey, I got to get Jason Hansen back in the pod too. He is the GOAT. Blake Corum is a good running back, but maybe more of a product of the I think he was in a good system, but I do believe he's a really good quarterback or really good running back. Sorry. He is in between the tackles. And he doesn't give up. He's got that motor. So maybe he's a little bit of the offensive line for sure, but make no mistake. I still think he's going to be a really good running back in the NFL. He'll be a solid running back for an NFL team. Yeah, 100% right there. Gibbs, Monty. Yeah, we got a great running game. Great Great running game. I tell you what, though, if you added Blake Corum to this running back room, you don't even need to pass the football. Run, 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 run. It would be ridiculous, man. It'd be a nutso out there. They would be nutso. But yeah, he's not going to be he wouldn't be playing here that much in Detroit Lions. He's not. And folks, again, we got free agency coming up here in about 3 weeks. I cannot wait to get into NFL free agency because, as you know, not a lot of stuff is happening right now in the world of the National Football League. So you make videos or you do live streams. Not a lot of people are on here until we get closer to free agency. And then it's like a rocket right from free agency to the NFL draft. And then we're back on the regular season. So I know for me, I'm enjoying this period of not a lot going on, spending time with family, spending time with someone who I care about a lot. And it's really good to spend time with somebody you care about. And when you're in the NFL season is going on, when the Lions are playing, you don't get that much time, especially as a content creator. You don't. You're working 6 days a week, sometimes 7. And you might say, there's no way. These videos are only like 12 minutes long. It takes about 4 hours to do a 12-minute video. So, and then for me, I run 2 channels. Yes, you can tell it's long days. So I'm really enjoying this right now. Like today, I decided not to even do a video today because I made a video yesterday for today, and then I could relax up to this live stream. Then I make a video after this live stream. Then I get to hang out. So I'm taking advantage of this slow period. We'll have next year. Very happy about last year. Go Lions. Yep. All facts. TA knows this 110%. You get exhausted. Glad to have a good coaching staff. Yep. Since Brad's been here, it's nice to not have to worry about idiots in the front. I know, isn't it, Brent? During the draft. And Brent, and I'm gonna tell you guys this. And Brad Holmes is correct. He went after the media after last year's draft, and he should have. Whoever he drafts, if it is a player you don't like, is it a position you don't like, take the ego at the door, remove it, and say, Brad Holmes, I trust. If Brad Holmes goes out in this year's draft and drafts a guy who I don't talk about, who I may not even like, I don't care. I like the player. Why? Because Brad Holmes is proven now that he evaluates talent. I don't care who they draft. I am behind that player. I don't care. Wherever he goes, I'm with, man. I know the player is going to be good because Brad Holmes is the best evaluator of talent I've ever seen. And it's crazy how good he is. And TA can attest to it. He gets guys that we like. Mike, do you think there'll be any other contracts done prior to free agency? Any contracts done? It would be our free agents. So let me look at the list of free agents for you guys really quickly. I think it was like 20 some. Let's see. Detroit Lions free agent. Let me see. I don't have the list on hand. So it's you got to be able to adapt here. Get this one there. Let me do a present, share screen again so you guys can see this. So we'll go through this list and I'll tell you if I think they get a deal done before free agency. Rome Ekwar, he's not going to be back. Okay. Charles Harris, he's not going to be back. CJ Gardner-Johnson, I would like him back. I don't believe he gets a contract done. I think he actually leaves in free agency. Emmanuel Mosley, I don't think a contract would happen before free agency. This would be wait because Emmanuel Mosley is probably looking. Teams are going to look at him just like the way that we look at him, and it's going to be a 1-year prove-it deal. So I don't think a contract gets done before if they bring him back. Big V, not coming back. Josh Reynolds, I'll say yes. They get a contract before free agency. I'm going to say yes there. Teddy Bridgewater retired. Graham Glasgow, say yes, they get it done. Will Harris, he's going to not come back. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, I say yes, he comes back for a 1-year deal before. Nate Sudfeld's not coming back. Matt Nelson, does anyone really care? They could. I don't care. He's not like he's some player that you'd care about. Julian's not. He's a Philadelphia Eagle. No for Jonah Jackson. They don't get a deal done. Jake McQuaid, who really cares? Craig Reynolds. They get a 1-year deal for him, a veteran minimum. Bring him back. I'll say, yeah. Kindle Vildor, I don't think they'd do a deal before free agency. I think he'll wait a little bit because it's not like he's a big name or anything. Shane Zylstra, same deal there. He got injured before even the season started. Scott Daly, long snapper, who cares? Brock Wright, yes, they'll get a little deal done for him. Benito Jones, yes, they'll get a little deal done for him. Anthony Pittman, who cares? Donovan Peoples-Jones, I'm going to say no, not before free agency. I hope he does come back after free agency starts because he's probably going to look to see if he can get on a better team at a better roster spot. See, he may not want to be like a number 5. He's probably looking to be a number 3. Khalil Dorsey, who really cares? Zonovan Knight, who really cares? Jerry Jacobs, I'm going to say no. I don't think he does get a deal done before. James Houston, yes, he does. That's my list of players who potentially could be back before. Emmanuel Moses is absolutely injury prone. And if any team gives him a big deal, they're morons. If the Lions gave this dude a 1-year, $6 million deal, I would be definitely questioning that. I would, because I want to see production first. J.C. Horn rumors. I'm going to keep 100. I haven't heard any J.C. Horn rumors. Please let me know. Ali, I haven't heard anything on it. Don't know. Didn't hear about it. If I would have heard about it, I probably would have made a video on it. So I haven't heard anything about J.C. Horn. Dak got the bag because Jones kept putting him on the back burner. They could have him watched cheaper. Not Dak's fault. Oh, talking about the Cowboys. And Phil says saying that this next year deal could be $60 million for Dak Prescott. Go ahead. Pay Dak Prescott $60 million a year. Go ahead and destroy your franchise. He's not worth $60 million a year. These contracts for these quarterbacks are getting out of hand. $60 million for one player. Sorry, but you can't build a Super Bowl roster with that. I'm going to just say, I don't care. I'm not going to give $60 million to Dak Prescott. That is ridiculous, man. That's why that's one of the reasons why they're never going to make a Super Bowl. These teams that overpay for the quarterback position always fail. If your name is not Patrick Mahomes, you don't need to be getting no $60 million a year. Patrick Mahomes is on a different level of good. Everybody else, yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's just way too much. Willie coming back, bro. Willie. Let's see. Yes, out of hand, Mike. Yeah, 100%. Daniel Jones' contract that was the worst contract I ever seen in my entire life. Not only does he suck, but he got a big deal and he's injured. You paid a guy who's trash big money. These franchises are dumb, man. Dak is worth $60 million like Daniel Jones is worth $40 million. Daniel Jones got $45 million, I think. That was terrible. What's up, Wolf of Lion? Make sure you subscribe to Wolf of Lion. My guy right there. Lose in the first round every year because they're terrible organizations. That's what terrible organizations do. Pay a player $60 million. That means you're a bad organization. It means you're trash. Please do it. Please pay. I want every NFC team that has a quarterback to pay their quarterbacks buku money, and then they suck. I wouldn't want to pay Jared Goff $60 million. And y'all know I'm about bringing Jared Goff back now for what he did to the Detroit Lions. But if they gave Jared Goff $60 million, that would destroy this franchise. Because there's no way you're going to be able to pay St. Brown, Penei Sewell, Aleem McNeil, and Aiden Hutchinson. That would be a terrible decision. Jared Goff's a really good quarterback. He's got top 5 stats, right? He's shown it. He's a good quarterback in my opinion. But he's not Patrick Mahomes. Nobody's Patrick Mahomes unless you're Patrick Mahomes. He'd be the only quarterback you would do that to because he just changes a game so much. He's worth not having an extra player for because he wins games. Well, other than that, get up out of here, dog. Cowboys, Dak, yeah. So, yeah, you know, that's overpaying. And I don't want – and Brad Holmes is not a moron, folks. Brad Holmes is not – he's actually really good with contracts, and he doesn't overpay players, and he's not going to do that. And if you're Jared Goff, I don't think Jared Goff even does that. He knows he would be set up for failure. He don't want that. Goff wants to win. That would be ridiculous. So Jared Goff, I could see closer to 47 to 50 million. No way he goes 60 million. And any quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes that does this does not want to win. If you want to get that type of money, then you simply don't care about winning. And that's facts. Because there's no way you're setting your team up for success for that type of money. I mean, that's just way too much money, man. That's just way too much money. When you could just draft a quarterback and save a ton. I mean, look what San Francisco did. They are a classic example of a franchise that knows what they're doing. Right? They got a guy on a rookie deal in Brock Purdy. He's not the greatest quarterback in the world, but they got so much talent offensively, it makes him look pretty damn good. And does anyone believe that if Brock Purdy was not playing and Sam Darnold went in there, some old mediocre quarterback, does anyone think that they don't win? No, I think they still win. They probably go to an NFC championship. That's the quarterback position is the number one position you got to get right in the National Football. No doubt. It is the number one position. Absolutely it is. But it's not the only position. You got to have a team, folks. To be good, you have to have a team. You got to have players. All right? If we don't have Jahmyr Gibbs, we're not in the NFC Championship game. If we don't have a Penei Sewell, we're not in the NFC Championship game. If we don't have Aiden Hutchinson, we're not in the NFC Championship game. We're not. We're not going to be that good. We surround ourselves with great players. When you have great players, you win a lot. But when you don't have those great players, you're not going to win. And if you have a quarterback that's getting paid that type of money, you're not going to have these great players. You're not going to win. So quarterbacks have in my opinion, quarterback contracts has destroyed franchises in the National Football League. They have decapitated some franchises. And I don't know how to reverse it because it's only going to go up each year. I don't know how that's going to change. My idea, and I know this is a lot of people may not like this idea, and that's fine. But they need to cap some of these quarterback issues. They got to do that. Cap it or have your own cap space for a quarterback because it's just becoming insane. They are destroying the NFL. Yeah, and it is. And so at some point, it's got to bottom out. Like, you can't go up to 60, then like 65 million a year for a quarterback. Like, holy goodness. Like, it's just going to be bad result. Wants to win. Yeah, he does. Does anyone in here believe that Jared Goff's saying, I want 60 million? There's no one going to. Jared Goff won't do that. He loves this team. He says it goes to about 25 million a year, made 100 million. Goff gets, 48 million. I'm fine with that. Wolverine, 48 million is perfectly fine. That is, to me, if you're a top 10 quarterback, that's top 10 money. Perfectly fine with the $48 million a year. That's a little bit more than Daniel Jones. Thank you, Daniel Jones, for resetting the market for garbage quarterbacks. But that's a fine number for me right there. 48 million. Fine. It's not going to decapitate you in the cap space. We're talking right now, Jared Goff is like around 30 million in cap space. Let me see. Let me go to the Detroit Lions cap situation. I'm going to assume it's around there. Let's see teams, NFL teams. Get the Detroit Lions. There we go. I'm going to assume it's around there. Jared Goff is at 31 million cap hit. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. $31 million. That's a great cap for a quarterback, right? 38 million. So, or 31 million. That's right now. So if we're to extend him and say his cap goes to 36 million, is it really that big of a deal? No. Or if even if it got to 40 million, that's a little bit high, but it's still doable for cap hit. We're not talking about We're not talking about year contract. We're talking about cap hit. That's what we're talking about. So right now, Jared Goff's only 12.86% of the cap. If you were to do a Dak Prescott, you're looking at 25%. Think about this. If you a $60 million contract is about 25% of a team's cap. Can you believe that? That means one player is taking 25% of your team's cap out of 53. That's ludicrous. So if you're to do this, you're going to have to you can't pay everybody. You just can't. And that's the bottom line. Holy cow, we've been on for an hour. Well, I didn't even know today's stream went really quick. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Sorry that we were talking about cap and boring stuff for a little bit. Didn't expect it to go this quick. Yeah, appreciate everybody hanging out. We'll have videos drop tomorrow. Try to get Herm on, get some videos made for you guys, and continue on this offseason. We get closer to free agency. I'm thinking about live streaming free agency, maybe for 8 hours. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments whether you're live right now, or should I just kind of be live for 8 hours on free agency when it starts, because the Lions could be making moves. I could do that and make videos while I'm live streaming. We could do something like that. I'll talk to Chat Sports, see if they could cut videos for me if I'm live. That's a potential option. But we'll figure out when that happens here. We'll figure out when that happens. With that said, folks,
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me, and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till